big city port was in the grip of winter. It had come earlier than expected, and with it came the fog. The Star Tugs hated the fog. In those days, they had no radio or radar. They had to rely on eyes and ears, and the fog could sometimes play tricks on those. Long periods of fog had a way of conjuring up old sea stories and superstitions among the boats of the harbor. Many of the tugs felt nervous in the daytime fog. When darkness fell, they became even more anxious and a little bit jumpy. On this particular evening, Big Mac was on his way back to the Star Pier. He'd been working all day with Scuttlebutt Pete, who had been telling him old sea stories about strange things that could happen when fog was around. As Big Mac passed a spooky old warehouse, he heard a whispering sound. The buildings creaked and groaned, as though they were alive. The whispering sound grew louder. Big Mac peered through the fog, but couldn't see anything.
"This is too creepy for me,"
he muttered.
"I'm getting home fast, fog or no fog."
He set off through the fog, but suddenly there in front of him appeared 4 ghostly white tugs.
"Ugh!"
gulped Big Mac.
"It's the ghost fleet. That's gonna be talked about."
It was all too much for Big Mac. He turned and charged off through the fog, hoping the ghost fleet was not following him. He eventually reached the safety of the Star Pier. All the Star Tugs, except Hercules, were in their berths as Big Mac came steaming in.
"Slow down, Big Mac," said Top Hat. "You know better than to travel that fast in fog."
OJ looked closely at Big Mac.
"You all right, Big Mac?"
he asked.
You look as though you've seen a ghost." "Well, actually, I have,"
said Big Mac in a shaky voice.
"You've seen what?"
asked Warrior.
"Ghosts,"
replied Big Mac.
Well,
laughed Top Hat.
"I never thought a harbor tug would believe in ghosts."
The other tugs joined in the laughter as Big Mac looked embarrassed. Early the next morning, Captain Star gave his fleet their orders for the day. The fog was still very thick, and as they prepared to go to work, they teased Big Mac about his ghost.
"I shouldn't have told you,"
scowled Big Mac. "You take no notice," said OJ. "The fog plays funny tricks on all of us. Don't you worry about it, Big Mac. Just mind you keep your wits about you."
"But ghosts, Big Mac."
Big Mac moved off, muttering to himself. "I suppose I could have been seeing things, but they seemed jolly real at the time. I can tell you." The tugs set to work. That evening, Warrior was making his way back to the Star Pier, across the bay. The fog was still thick, so he sounded his foghorn frequently. Some shrimpers were following him, using to guide them into port. "Hey, Warrior!" called one of the shrimpers. "Are you sure you know the way?"
"Course I do," grinned Warrior. "A bit of fog is nothing to worry about. I've got a natural sense of direction. Just stick close to me and... Oops!"
Warrior had to swerve violently to avoid a mud bank. The shrimpers behind them were not so lucky. They ran straight into the mud bank and stuck there. Warrior steamed happily along, suddenly jerked to a halt. There in front of him were 4 white tugs.
"What the..."
Warrior watched in horror as the tugs moved across in front of him.
Who are they? I don't believe it,
He thought.
It's just as Big Mac said. It's the Ghost Fleet.
He hurried back to the Star Pier to tell the others. Further out in the bay, Izzy Gomez, the tramp steamer, had been waiting all day for a cheap tow in the port. As night fell, he decided to try and sneak into port for free, under cover of the fog. Just as he started to lift his anchor, Zoran, the leader of the Z-Stacks, appeared. "You never learn, do you, Izzy?" sneered Zoran. "Breaking the law as usual. Well, if you run aground, you'll be my salvage." "And no salvage," replied Izzy. "I'll give you 50 to tow me in." "Get lost," said Zoran. "You're worth more to me as scrap." And he moved off into the fog. Izzy pulled up his anchor the rest of the way and set off for the harbor. But as Zoran moved across the bay, he saw something up ahead. "Ahoy!" he called. "Do you need a tow into port?" There was no reply. Zoran watched in horror as 4 white tugs appeared through the fog and sailed past him. "It's the ghost! Big Mac's ghost!" cried Zoran. "They've come to get me!" And he turned around and steamed back the way he had come as fast as he could. Back in the bay, Izzy was just beginning to move. "It's very foggy," he muttered to himself. "So if I can't see anybody and then nobody can see me, I'll get into port for free for once. Ha! That's good." He caught sight of something coming towards him. "Hey, you watch where you're going," he yelled and sounded his horn. There was no reply as 4 white tugs slid silently by. "Help!" cried Izzy. "It's the ghost! Don't take me! I've got a tow already! Please don't take me!" As the ghost tugs disappeared into the mist, Izzy turned towards the harbor again and bumped into Zoran, who was going round in circles in the fog. "Zoran!" cried Izzy with relief. "Give me a tow, I'll pay whatever you want. Just get me into port." "No problem, Izzy, my old friend," said Zoran. "I'll tow you in for nothing. I need some company." That night was a terrible night for the Star Tugs. Even level-headed old OJ thought he saw the ghost. As he was returning from escorting 2 tramp steamers out to sea, he decided to cut through the inlet where the old cranes were kept. The fog gave everything a creepy look, and the sounds of rattling chains and grinding metal made OJ uneasy. "It's just the fog, playing tricks on me," OJ muttered to himself as he hurried along. "Drat this fog, I can't see a thing. Oops! What's that?" He had nearly run into Scuttlebutt Pete.
You stupid tug!
He cried Scuttlebutt.
"Oh, it's you, OJ. You nearly scared the daylights out of me."
"Thought I was a ghost, Tug, did ya?" said OJ. You're beginning to believe those tales you tell."
"Don't joke about those things,"
warned Scuttlebutt Pete.
"You take care."
As OJ continued on his way, he heard a sound behind him. He glanced back, and to his horror, saw the ghostly shapes of 4 white tugs moving through the fog. "Oh no! Now I'm seeing things! No, they're really there! It's the ghost tugs!" and he set off at top speed back to the Star Pier. In the harbor, quite near to the Star Pier, Top Hat was on his way home. He had been out in the fog all day and was feeling quite anxious.
That's funny,
He thought.
I don't recognize a thing. Can't even hear a foghorn.
He steamed along, keeping close to the shoreline, hoping to see any familiar landmarks. Suddenly, he saw two bright pinpoints of light ahead of him.
What's that? I never thought I'd get as jittery as the others, but I am. Where am I?
He looked around.
If I steer between those trampers, I shall be in open water.
But as he glanced through the gap, he couldn't believe his eyes.
Oh no! It's the Ghost Fleet! It's true!
The white tugs moved away through the fog.
That's enough from here, trembled Top Hat. I'm staying here until daylight. It's too dangerous out there. I'll dock here and find my way back in the morning.
He settled down for an uneasy night's sleep. Out in the estuary, 10 Cents and Sunshine were towing an oil barge towards Lilylet's ship. "If we don't get to her soon, her light may go out," said Sunshine anxiously. "We'll make it," said 10 Cents. There was a loud cracking sound ahead of them. "What's that?" cried Sunshine. The noise grew louder. "I don't like it, 10 Cents. What's happening?" "Sounds like ice breaking. But it can't be at this time of year. Can it?" "How should I know? I've never seen anything like this before," replied 10 Cents nervously.
Our number's up. They've come to get us.
The sea ahead of them began to bubble, and suddenly, up out of the water, appeared an old galleon.
Look at that,
gasped 10 Cents.
It's a ghostly galleon,
wavered Sunshine. And together, the two terrified tugs turned and charged away through the fog. The following morning the sun came up and blazed through the thinning fog. Top Hat was still asleep where he tied up when Grampus the midget submarine surfaced beside him and spouted water on his face.
No, don't hurt me! Go away, ghost!
Cried Top Hat as he woke up with a start.
Oh, it's you, Grampus.
What are you doing here, Top Hat? Asked Grampus. And what's this about ghosts?
Did I say ghost?
Laughed Top Hat.
I must have been dreaming. I lost my bearings in the fog and couldn't get home, so I moored here for the night.
Grampus laughed.
Here? But you were only a few minutes from the home. Look!
Top Hat looked around. The Star Pier was just across the way, so he'd nearly been home after all. At the Star Pier, all the other tugs were in the berths except Hercules. Top Hat steamed up.
Listen, everyone! I've seen ghost tugs! Really?
We've all seen them, Top Hat, said OJ. 10 Cents and Sunshine saw a galleon, too.
But these were real ghosts,
insisted Top Hat.
Phantoms in the sea!
There was a loud hoot, and Hercules steamed up. Ghosts, smiled Hercules. What's this about ghosts?
Ghostly white tugs,
said Big Mac. And a galleon, added 10 Cents. Hercules laughed. You're all seeing things. If I'd been there, I'd have explaining things. Those tugs you saw are the White Fleet, down here from northern waters. They're on a trail of an iceberg, which has floated down here and is a danger of ships. There was the old galleon frozen in this iceberg. I suppose when the ice finally melted, the old boat bobbed up to the surface. Behind Hercules, Burke and Blair steamed past, towing the old galleon. "There's your ghostly galleon, 10 cents," laughed Hercules. The Star Tugs watched as Burke and Blair towed away the old galleon. A moment later, the White Fleet steamed past on their way back up north, their job done. The Starfleet laughed about it, relieved to hear the simple explanation. But they never forgot the time when the fog made them see ghosts. The end.